back to the channel. Today we're going to be watching DS, Biffle, Hisoka and Shifty take over Warzone. They recently just won, I think it was a $200,000 tournament, absolutely insane stuff. So this one's quite interesting because normally I'm breaking down the pros gameplay, but this one we actually get the Codcaster POV. Make sure to let me know if you guys want to see more versions like this, and I'll make sure to get that down for you. They actually won 3 games in this video. This is straight from Biffle's channel itself, so if you guys want me to analyze the rest of them, the game 2 and 3, let me know down in the comments and I'll make sure to do that. So right now you can see we're obviously not starting with Biffle itself because this is directly from the live stream, so we're just going to kind of go with the teams and see what's going on. So honestly, at the start, nothing too crazy, so I'm going to kind of forward it a little bit, just let everyone kind of loot up, and we're going to be in a scenario where as soon as teams start to fight, we're going to be able to get some more intel. So right now, you're going to see Team 11, they're going through Wars, AJ, and Vision. They got a bit of high ground. If we can pause it here, one thing that's going to happen very soon is this fight here, as you can see. But for me, I'm really interested to see what Biffle and them do, and just kind of how they ended up winning 3 games, because that is pretty insane stuff. So right now, we're going through, and we're going to get our first team fight. So Wiz goes across, gets the first kill. Now remember, in Resurgence, when you get the down, you can automatically look at your minimap and identify your teammates. This is extremely different to what we're normally seeing. What we're normally seeing in the big map is complete different pacing. On this map, you're going to see a mixture of kills and placements, and it really depends on the team's playstyle. Most of the time, what you're also going to find is a team's kind of splitting. So even right now, if we look at team number 6, you can see they have a slight split, because you're going to have 2 people and 1, so that, for example, the 2 people go down, the 1 player is still going to be able to stay alive and get the res off, just because of the timer. So Vision goes through, he takes out another player. Hopefully the Codcasters do a really good job now of kind of isolating the players in fights, and we're able to see that. So even right now, you see number 11 take out 2 players from number 7. I want you to pay attention to the minimap. Can you see Rodrigo here? He is literally sprinting away, right? Why? Because his teammates just died, so he needs to buy some time here. So he's going through, he's getting around, and you see Wars, he identifies this. He's going through and he's trying to take out that player. So if we get that kind of bird's eye view right now, really good stuff from Team 11 here to kind of isolate this prison area. Now Vision is in a 1 versus 1 against Rodrigo. Me personally, I don't mind this play, but I feel like you've got your teammates with you. Like right now, he knows Rodrigo's stuck here, right? I feel like why not communicate to Wars and make it a 2 versus 1? Let's see what happens. Another thing, me personally, is he's got his bomb drones, right? So in this scenario, he knows he's there. Maybe chuck a bomb drone in, make it harder for them. He goes through. Unfortunately, we're not able to see that. And obviously, it doesn't show his POV, right? But if we just pay attention to the minimap, Rodrigo ends up winning this gunfight. So for me, this was a big misplay. They know they killed the 2 teammates. Rodrigo's the only one in the corner here. I feel like Vision really has to scream for help from Wars, and they have to work together there, in my opinion. If we pay attention here, Rodrigo ends up killing Vision, and it's just, again, another kill you didn't need to get. And all these minor plays is what makes the good teams great. So Dongi goes through. Dongi's an incredible player, by the way. Dongi goes through. I think it was a really good, I'll say it was a really good gunfight for him to take, but I'm not really sure what happened there, so let's kind of go through that again. I feel like Stuo on this angle maybe was able to help his teammate there take out Dongi, but again, really good play from them. So we're going to back off slightly to the earlier gunfights and kind of watch that all unfold once again. So like I said, Vision with 2 goes across, they isolate the last player in, and I'm really just paying attention to the minimap here to see where the other teams are. So it's number 9. Number 9 is the main kind of attention that I'm looking for here. So again, we saw this earlier, this kind of gunfight, the way it went through. Yeah, right now we're in Dongi, okay? I feel like, honestly, he played this well. He played this well. The reason why he's just aiming in and not running around is because he's trying to sound tour. In Warzone, when everyone's got their headset cranked, there's no dead silence, right? It's not like a competitive CDL, so everyone can hear everyone at this point. So they're going through, and I think right now, in an ideal world, he starts shooting right there and maybe backs away. But I just think this was one of those where he missed a few shots near the end and got absolutely outgunned there, to be honest with you. But yeah, the trades go in. That's 1 versus 1. And Stuo, he's the main player for me. So when we look at team number 6, my biggest advantage, I personally think, is they have 1 person on high ground and they have 2 in the action. So what you're seeing is he's able to fight them from a different angle. That's so vital in this scenario. And again, chucking bomb drones, really good stuff there, and they're able to win the team fight. In these scenarios, you really don't need all 3 people next to each other. You want that safety net, especially in Resurgence. I feel like the best teams is what we saw in, Hisoka, Biffle, and Shifty, is they had a little bit of a safety net, and they always play near a buy station. So we haven't quite yet got to them right now, but number 3, one of my favorite teams, Aiden. I've been watching this guy for the last 5 years. He's one of my favorite Warzone pros, so I did want to see them do well. They did pretty good. Let's see if they can kind of get into this gunfight here. So we're going to start with Smith. that guy insanely good at this game. So, you know, I back him in this 1 versus 1. He goes through, he gets the first kill. As soon as you get the first kill, you essentially have the green light in this scenario. So you know the pros, again, they're in a 3 versus 2 right now. So they're going to get the green light to push methods here. So Knight gets another kill. And in this scenario, they know that they're 2 versus 1. So let's pay attention to the minimap. Number 12, the team 12, their third teammate, he sprints away. So just like we spoke about earlier, every time you watch these teams, once they get a kill, the third player is always going to run away. They're always going to reposition so that they can wait and get their life back and the rest of their teammates. And you're seeing it right now. He's staying in the corner. Finally, we're going to see the champions, Biffle, Shifty, and Hisoka start to get some engagements. You see Biffle's on the left here. And it's quite interesting. I wasn't able to see Hisoka. There you go. Right there. So immediately, Hisoka's by himself. So in this scenario, it's one of those moments where Hisoka was the player playing solo. Biffle and Shifty were next to each other. So just like I mentioned earlier, every team is going to have a 2-1 split. I feel like it's the best way to do it. And Hisoka, to be honest, I trust this guy in a 1 versus 3. I trust him as a solo player. I think he plays it so smart. I mean, I trust anyone on that team, but I like Hisoka being the solo player. Now, when you have the word solo player, this doesn't mean they can never be with their team, but they're going to be on a bit of an island. They're going to be the ones scouting out, going a bit riskier, and just kind of trying to make plays. But right now, we're going to have a 3 versus 3. In terms of positionings, if we look at this, it looks like number 8 are playing a little bit more reserved. Now, this can definitely go into your favor if you get the first blood. However, it could also go into the favor of the enemy team because they're the ones who are able to control the pacing. So right now, I am curious to see what happens with that gunfight. We'll pay attention to the kill feed. Unfortunately, the codcasters didn't go to them, so we're not able to see directly what happens. But Aiden goes in, really good shoulder here. Right now, if you're Aiden, you're going to go for a sneak shot. He jumps through, and I want you to pay attention to what he does. As soon as he takes any form of damage, he immediately gets out of there. So again, just playing his life well, going to go for a reposition. He's going to go for that gunfight from a different angle. So right now, the team's playing really well. All the teams playing fairly well that we've seen so far. Hisoka does kill Nate Dogg. So again, we're looking at the kill feed there. Hisoka does get that kill, really crucial, and he does use a precision. I actually have made a separate video. I don't think it's live yet, but it's kind of how Hisoka uses his surroundings so well. And if we look at the kill feed, even that precision, I can automatically tell he basically got Nate Dogg off the building, right? So just using his basically everything so well, like his cover, his kind of natural resources, all that good stuff. And Biffle gets another kill. So they won that team fight. So unfortunately, we weren't able to see it, but it's all good. Donkey again, this one's rough, man. He lost the first one, goes through again, and Donkey scored kind of in a bit of a blender here, you know. Believe goes through and he clutches that one up. So really good play from Believe there. Skullface again getting some kills. He actually gets a team wipe as well. So really interesting stuff. So as we're progressing now, there's 12 teams. One thing I would say, if you guys are playing ranked trios and trying to really level up and just overall, like I said, man, you need to make sure your solo player not only has a gun skill to take on players, but has a discipline to disengage when he needs to. Like, that solo play is the most important. For me, there is zero reason why any team right now should be eliminated. You have a resurgence, you have a timer, like you should be able to time it well enough to have somebody always up. You should be able to play their buy stations, have kind of safety reserve. So I do think that the teams going out now, they are really going to be costing themselves. It's not the same as the big map. On the big map, I understand. Once you're down, there's no resurgence. But on this map, there's really no excuse. Skullface goes through, and just like I mentioned, he's by himself. Team versus team 11. This is going to be interesting. So Skullface is kind of by himself there. Noobs is slightly closer, but you do need a bit more support from his team right now. So he's going to back away. But like I said, do you want to engage in a 3 versus 3 or make it a 2 versus 1? It really depends on the team and how you guys want to play it. But Skullface goes through. He gets the first kill. Excellent stuff there. Now, as soon as he gets that kill, Noobs is able to go through. Now, wait to pay attention to Almond here, because Almond's the key. If Noobs dies, Almond is basically by himself here. So you can see Almond is nowhere near them right now. And again, this is one of the best teams, and this is what they're doing. Look where Almond is. He's on the rooftop, nowhere near his teammates. So again, they're sticking to that 2-1 split. So crucial throughout this video. All the best teams you're seeing doing it so well. And right there, for example, they save the solo player, they go through, and they're able to kind of get the trades. You're seeing it right now as well with team number 3. So it's not just about gun skill, it's also about the teamwork. But as we go through here, we can forward it slightly. We'll get more into the end game a bit. Knight does get another kill. I feel like team number 3 doing a really good job now, just kind of securing this area, but I'm interested to see what happens when Resurgence gets disabled. Right now, again, if you're these teams, you probably want to rack up as many kills as possible, because when it gets to that late game, you are definitely going to be prioritizing the placements. So, you know, just really good stuff from Fnatic right now. When you're watching Fnatic here, Almond again kind of on his island, you're seeing Skullface and Noobs go through. I feel like out of the 3, again, same thing kind of I said with Falcons. I don't mind any of them as island players, and they're all good enough. It just depends on the situation. Going through Biffle with another kill, and this is where it gets interesting. The team's starting to fight. We're watching Shifty here. He goes through, he makes Joe one shot, gonna back away. Biffle's repositioning here, and this one was just another 1 versus 1. So in this scenario, we're watching Biffle, who I think is the best player in the world right now. He goes through. He's in a scenario where he's trapped in a room, okay? So he kind of escapes the room. Now, as he escapes, he baits in his opponent through the window. So this was really good shots from him, and then he just uses some sort of movement to kind of finesse. But the way he won that gunfight, again, was so simple. He went around, repositioned, got the kill, armors up, and now they're chasing down again. So one thing that we're seeing from Team Falcon, who obviously won the whole event, is when they find those easy kills, they really go for it. They don't, you know, waste any time. Look at this. He jumps through, easy kills, and they actually start to work as a group. They start to go for those individuals, and that's what I think they did really well this event. You're seeing it right now. Biffle and Shifty playing together, Hisoka on the island, but Biffle has 6 kills. That is a lot of kills at this point. Same as Skullface going through. Now you're seeing team number 11 here. So you're seeing the EU boys, Warzone them. Now I think they're great players, but right now I don't love the strategy from them. And this is where I think it's slightly different in terms of confidence. So one thing I'm seeing from team number 11 is they're playing way more reserved, way more patient, a bit more, I would say, position based. Where you're seeing right now, Noobs goes through and gets the first kill. Noobs goes across, gets a second kill. It's so much easier for team number 2 than it is for team number 11. Now what they're doing, they're chasing. You have to remember in these scenarios, it's not like pubs, right, where if you get 2 kills, maybe you let the 3rd one come in, you farm them. Once you eliminate a team, they are out for the game. They are no longer getting scores. So right now, they are going for the last player on number 11. They are going for him, and there you go. They get the kill. I think that was a terrible play from team number 11. If I'm honest, I think it was a really bad play. They stuck in a corner. They had no kind of escape plan. As soon as 2 of them went down, the 3rd was with them. So at that point, it was literally just a really bad situation to be in. They go through, they get taken out. We're seeing number 3 versus number 4. Aiden versus Biffle's team. What's going to go on? They've had rivalry for years. And Aiden's, again, kind of holding the rooftops. I don't mind this play from them. Biffle's going to disengage. And this is what I'm talking about. Look at this. So Biffle disengages, right? And he sees someone land in. So right now he's thinking, okay, this is probably an easier kill to have. Again, I trust him in his 1v1s. But let's see how Shifty reacts to this information. Immediately, wastes no time, goes through, but Biffle wins his 1. So right now, if you're watching this, you're like, Biffle's basically winning all his 1v1s. I expect that. So if you're an opponent, you really don't want to have a 1v1 with him because he's probably going to win it. So it's just one of those where their talent is simply just winning their 50-50s. And I feel like that's what they do better than anyone. Like having Biffle in a 50-50 is literally a cheat code because he's always going to have the advantage. He's just that skilled. So you want to make sure you're having some sort of advantage. You're taking the 2-on-1s. And I just don't think the teams did that well against them this event. Right now, what we're seeing Intex, again, quite low in terms of the engagements. They got 1 or 2 kills. So I don't think team number 9 are doing too much right now, kind of watching this game. The respawn is closing as well. I feel like you have to be way more risky in the early game. We're seeing a lot of like players playing for, they're kind of playing for just their life and the placements, but I feel like you need to take charge early game. If you really want a top 3, top 5 finish, obviously go for the first as well. You really need to utilize those early game points because as soon as the timer goes, right, as soon as they're no longer playing for lives, it's gonna be very dangerous. But as I say that, they're going up against a champion. Shifty goes through 1 versus 1 and Shifty's gonna get taken down. Not gonna lie, great play there from team number 9, the team I was just kind of talking about in a negative way. They actually played it really well. But if we look at the minimap, Shifty is now on an island. Biffle and Hisoka are playing together. So again, Shifty dying now, it's not the end of the world, you know? He gets into a 1 versus 2. Really good play from Intex there. Nice patience to kind of back away. Dongi cleans them up. They know exactly where the teammates are. Now let's watch the rotation. Hisoka's going to go through. They're not going to engage in this gunfight. They're like, you know what? Let's leave it. They end up buying Shifty back immediately. So again, something I saw Repulse say as well, something I've noticed as well, is that this team Falcon, they always go by the buy. They're not wasting no time. They're not going to let Shifty, they're just going to buy him back, nice and simple, getting back into the game, reposition. MWIII right now, they're in a really good spot, team 2 at this scenario. I think they were pretty high, man. This is match 2. I think they were playing really well at this point, and the game's getting closer and closer to the finish. Right now, you're seeing 7 teams left out of the 14. There's just not a lot of people right now, and as the zone gets smaller and smaller, we're going to see more gunfights. So let's forward this slightly as we go through. And what we're seeing right now is, I don't know what they're doing right now. If we look at the minimap, you're seeing team 6. Like, there's no reason for anyone right now to be out of position. The map's so big in terms of how many teams are left. You have so much space. So I feel like all these teams are kind of fighting. And this is the point as well. Biffle, Hisoka, and Shifty, because they got all their kills early game, right now, they're prioritizing the placement. You can see they're not going for those crazy gunfights right now. No, they're prioritizing the placement. I think that's so important. They went for the kills when the risk was at its lowest. They went for the kills when they had the most time, when they had the kind of resurgence, where now they're playing a bit more reserved. They don't need to go for those kills because they already kind of got them. So as it's going on, they're still gatekeeping. They're still going through. But you can see they're in a bad spot now. If you look at them, like, the zone is pulling towards Biffle. Like, MWIII, noobs, and then they all have to rotate. So right now, you're looking at the circle and saying whoever's on top of that building is probably going to win the game. So right now, you're seeing a lot of gunfights go through. A lot of teams are also playing together. So with the resurgence disabled now, it's okay to play together. It's actually quite important to play together because you don't have that safety there anymore. So MWIII goes through. Again, I don't mind this play, but just looking ahead, there's no way they rotate without getting beamed right now. So one thing I was going to mention, which is really useful because they just got that, is the ammunition boxes. So again, this is why early game, you need to make the most out of your resources. You need to make sure you're utilizing and holding the smoke grenades. Smoke grenades in this scenario, so crucial. You want to make sure you have smoke grenades. You want to make sure you have plenty of stuff for the rotation. If you look right now at this team, right, this guy's got nowhere to go. He's got no equipment, no escape plan. So MWIII's going to go through, and although they're in a okay spot, right, I feel like they've still got a plan. They got stims, they got the trophies, they got everything, they got smokes, and this is where a more kind of organized team are going to excel. Let's pause this right now. So let's talk about Aiden. I think this is really important. When you are the solo player in this situation, placement's everything. You're not going to 1v3 these players. They're the best players in the world. So placement is everything. Aiden, playing it sneaky. I love what Aiden's doing right now, kind of playing his life well. Number 4, again, Biffle, Shifty, Hisoka playing the left corner. At this point, again, it's just about getting the rotation. Not prioritizing the kills, but prioritizing the rotation. And if we look right now, they've done it perfectly. They're on the left building. They're not in the middle 2 buildings. I feel like right now you don't want to be in the middle because you're going to get shot from the left and the right. So if we look right now, we've got a really good spot. We've got Falcons on the left. They're going to close it together. They've got plenty of smokes. And now look, Dongi's going to go through. He's by himself. Again, they're all rotating to each other. So if we just pause right now, the way that Falcons played, they were able to isolate the opponents. Now they're all on the left. But because they got the kills early, they're not worrying about the fights right now. They're letting the rest of the opponents fight it out, and they're going to kind of guarantee those placement points because they've already got the kills from earlier. So now they're going to go through. MWIII and them, again, doing an incredible job, just not panicking in the zone, making sure they've got enough equipment, enough resources to kind of just fight in this area, even though the zone wasn't ideal. And now you're going to see the fight go through. Biffle, Shifty, Hisoka go across, just using their smokes well, and this is going to be a 3 versus 3, and this is where it just comes down to an absolute, literally an absolute fight here. Hisoka's going through. He's got his C4s to work with. I guarantee he uses them. This guy he's so good with his equipment. As I say that, he goes through, slide cancels across, right into the door, and escapes. I think it was a risky play from him. I think it was a really risky play from him. He goes through. I'm not going to lie, if I'm Hisoka here, I'm probably just going for the fight. Now, I know this is more of an in-the-moment thing, but if you're going to just really go in there, I think you have to commit. I don't think you can turn around here. And he kind of trolls, I'm not going to lie to you. He trolls, he goes down, Biffle goes through, Shifty's watching over, and now they're in a 2 versus 3. Look, Hisoka's one of my favorite players, but if you're going to get that aggressive, I just think you have to commit. You have to maybe chuck a C4 in there, like do something a little bit different. Now, obviously, that is hindsight once we saw him die, so easier to say. But in this scenario, you know, doing such a good job in terms of like Skullface and the other team, they're in a better spot for sure. If you look at this right now, there is no reason team number 2 doesn't win this. There is no reason. They go through. Biffle and Shifty underneath here. They're going to go across. They're in a 2 versus basically 5 here. So you can see they're playing together. Biffle's getting shot. They're just going to play their life really well, reposition effectively. And this play right here is what will probably win them the game. This play right here, the reposition to go upstairs was insane. They were trapped in the room. They take out Dongi, he was by himself, and now they've got high ground. They literally just flipped a switch. They took the high ground off Dongi, and now, even though they don't have the numbers, they're 2 versus 3, but they have a buy station. They have a buy. They're probably going to bring Hisoka back here if they got the money. We can't see that right now, but everyone's just fighting it out. So Noobs and team number 2 and team number 13, they're now fighting in the middle floor. So I think it must have been Shifty that did that play call. I'm just guessing the way he was the one who went out there first, but that play call really won them the map here. That play call won them the map. So not only do they have the skill to get the downs like you're seeing now, right? They also have the awareness to make those plays, and that's what makes them the best team in the game. 2 versus 3, and they end up winning it. They make them one shot. They have the high ground. So although team number 2 has the numbers here, they just don't have the position. They just don't have the position. Biffle and Shifty, they have everything. They've got the high ground, they got the cover, and they're really able to isolate team number 2 here. So it's just really interesting the way it played out and the way they were able to hold that high ground. You're seeing Shifty go across, he's getting those easy shots off, and they're just trying their best to get an easy kill here. He holds the ladder and he takes out Skullface. Again, I don't know why Skullface is there by himself, but I feel like in this moment, the way the zone's going, they don't have many options. You see Noobs goes through, Biffle's in literally a 1 versus 1, takes him out. Biffle for 12 kills now. The guy is on a crazy streak. Shifty's actually blocking the ladder, and they're just in a really good spot now. They're 2 versus 1. Shifty goes down. It's now Biffle in a 1 versus 1. He does have the self-res, so he's going to go through. He's going to self-res, but again, taking his time. He's going to go across, and they end up... Did they win that? Yeah, so Shifty ends up killing Almond as well. So that was just one of those where they're both basically stuck in the zone, and literally at the end they were able to clutch up. There was no reason. I think Hisoka kind of trolled. I'm not going to lie. I think Hisoka trolled by going up the stairs. Now, in hindsight, I could say he trolled, but in the moment, he could have probably made the play there and got like literally 2 of them by running in, right? Because they weren't expecting it. The play that won them the game is going up the ladder. I don't know who called that, but the play that won them the game was going up that ladder. The fact that they went up the ladder, they killed Dongi, they took control of the high ground, that won them the game. YouTube, you guys know the drill. Drop a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. That was game 1. I got this from Biffle's channel. That was game 1 where they won. They actually had 2 more as well. So if you want me to break those down, make sure to hit maybe 50 likes on this video, and I'll get that done for you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Catch you then. Peace.